A recession is bad for many reasons. It leads to companies calling it quits, people losing their jobs, then everything plummets into an economic standstill. With one looming right over our heads due to the pandemic, you future billionaires might already be looking for ways to use it to your advantage. In this video, we'll be looking into what businesses might be recession-proof and how you can make a recession favorable to you. Welcome to the Future Billionaires Club, where you can get the inspiration and motivation for that billion-dollar lifestyle you desire. And join the club by clicking that subscribe button below and watch more of our precious videos. A recession hits all kinds of businesses, be it from slower demand or a general slump in consumer spending. You might not easily find recession-proof industries, but here are some businesses who wisely use this circumstance as momentum to bring their profession or business back around. Bankruptcy attorneys. A recession may be an economic downturn for some, but this is when bankruptcy attorneys shine. With the pandemic well in motion, law firms such as Dorsey & Whitney and Paul Hastings have started increasing their roster of lawyers in their bankruptcy teams. Online job site ZipRecruiter saw a massive increase in job openings for bankruptcy attorneys since January of this year. You can tell these guys were expecting a wave of bankruptcies to accompany the pandemic. April 2020 saw a rise in Chapter 11 filings, or a reorganization bankruptcy, by 26%. This prompted the law industry to pounce on the opportunity and meet the demand head-on. The sweets industry. When you're stressed, sweets and candies usually take some of the edge off, and stress gets pretty common during a recession. This is how the sweets industry thrives during such periods. A recession, of course, takes away our cravings for fancy cars and vacations given the financial constraints. But candies are just a luxury that one can treat themselves to at a reasonable price. In fact, during the recession of 2007 to 2009, the consumption of candy increased dramatically. In 2008, profits in Cadbury increased by 30%, with Nestlé's increasing by 11%. In the same year, an analysis from Mintel International showed a profit of $16.6 billion from US chocolate sales. That's pretty sweet if you ask me. Next up, maintenance services. Due to financial constraints, consumers resort to having their faulty appliances fixed rather than purchasing products brand new. This subsequently leads to a higher demand for maintenance services. So in times of a recession, businesses which specialize in maintenance and repair services begin to prosper. Grocery stores. Recessions force more and more people to eat at home rather than at some fancy restaurant or fast food chain. Their wallets just can't grant that luxury anymore. Given the situation, grocery stores are highly in demand. They have everything you need to fix up a grand meal for almost half of the price in restaurants. Even now with the pandemic hitting, grocery stores are one of the primary businesses that are thriving. Government bailouts. When businesses are on the brink of bankruptcy, the government swoops in to their aid. The government acts as their safety net by handing out financial support to companies or even countries approaching bankruptcy. The aided businesses don't necessarily have to pay them back, but in some cases, they have to. The bailout most commonly comes as a direct loan, but can also be a loan from the private sector. Bailouts give the distressed businesses a fighting chance to get back on their feet. Also, a complete collapse of their financial system can also be avoided. Rich people renegotiate. Rich people make use of a recession as an opportunity to renegotiate. This is a great way for them to get the best deals possible. They'd be making readjustments to the terms formerly agreed upon, that in mundane cases might be deemed too ambitious. They now have the chance to be able to deal with the best partners who were initially impossible to have business with. Larger companies buy bankrupt companies. Bigger companies get the chance to purchase a formerly thriving business at just a fraction of the price. These bought-out businesses were once big in their own right, but because of unforeseen circumstances like a pandemic, for example, they are in a rut from all the money they had to shell out just to stay afloat. Larger companies are just waiting for the moment when their competitors go bankrupt. This is when they strike. They then get the latter's assets, well-trained employees, and even access to their intellectual property in order to incorporate the newly acquired assets with their own, making them stronger, bigger, and richer. They purchase luxuries from others forced to sell. During recession, the rich are waiting and eyeing for people who are forced to sell some of their possessions, like jewelries, cars, or even real estate properties, at a lower price. By doing so, they would have the advantage of having the luxuries at a cheaper price. They also have the option to sell them at a price higher than what they had originally paid for. What about you, future billionaire? How else can you make money during recession? Let us know by leaving a comment below. And because you're still here, here's some bonus info for you guys. Did you know that the recession that engulfed the US economy from December 2007 to June 2009 resulted in the loss of 8.7 million jobs, an increase of unemployment from 4.7% to more than 10%, a decline in annual GDP of roughly 6%, and a greater than 50% drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average? The housing sector, which was the epicenter of the economic collapse, experienced a 33% fall in home prices nationally, 10 million home foreclosures, and $9.8 trillion in lost home equity. Massive losses among housing finance-related institutions nearly triggered the collapse of the entire US financial system. Combined, US households experienced a total loss of roughly $16.4 trillion. As summed up by the US Federal Reserve Bank, from peak to trough, the 2007 to 2009 economic downturn was the deepest recession since World War II. Thanks for watching, Future Billionaire. Enjoyed what you saw? Deposit a like, and be sure to join the Future Billionaires Club by hitting subscribe and ringing the notification bell to keep up to date with our entertaining uploads. And check out these other amazing videos we've selected for you next.